Hello, I'm Julia Colon, and this is WEDU Arts Plus. For Liz Prisley, finding her voice meant learning the rules of poetry and then unlearning them. The Citrus Park resident is part of Tampa Bay's spoken word community, a group of performance poets using the power of words to speak truth on their own terms.
I wrote my first suicide note at the age of 13. By 15, I composed an entire notebook. My 10th grade English teacher thought that I was troubled, but no number of parent-teacher conferences could find a solution. See, I was mourning a loss I hadn't yet identified, struggling with an identity I didn't yet understand. Tell me, what does it mean to be a woman? So I have a poem called Suicide Note. I was looking back at middle school, high school creative writing that I found in a folder when I was cleaning out a drawer and was trying to remember, because nothing was that hard in my life. My parents were still happily married, like we had a happy home. See, when I was 6, I measured my self-worth in fireflies, blanket forts, and kisses from my dad. And I was like, what was I so upset about at 13? And so I was trying to think, like, what was going on? And the more I dug, the more I realized that I was grappling with being found physically attractive for the first time and being sexualized as like a middle and high school girl. And like, it just weighed really heavily on me trying to like figure out how to navigate the world as a person. See, by 16, I'd exchanged fireflies for desire shining in boys' eyes. Blanket forts for some spindly teenage arms and daddy kisses for foreign lips of approval, where satisfaction is found in the meeting of lips, the pressing of hips, the probing of somebody else's fingertips into places that I didn't know of a mine to begin with. And so I think some of the lines in that poem resonate with a lot of women who've had similar experiences. My name's Liz Prisley. I'm a spoken word poet and the executive director of Heard 'Em Say Youth Arts Collective, a nonprofit that empowers young people through creative arts and spoken word poetry. I've always enjoyed poetry, but it wasn't until I found spoken word that it resonated more. A lot of academic poetry spaces made me feel like I couldn't talk about my lived experiences, or I feel passionately about kind of like this social justice lens to talking about poetry, and that was really absent from a lot of my college and high school poetry spaces. And so it wasn't until that element was there in the spoken word community that it just like really connected for me, I think.
One of the things that I love the most about this community is the diversity of the art forms and the number of young emerging artists. And I guess I would put Liz in that category, that are kind of bubbling up, especially as we're coming out of this pandemic, to be able to give voice to your fears, to the anxiety we've experienced, to the isolation, to everything. What a wonderful role for poets to play in this. And this is kind of Liz's thing. She really wants to kind of bridge those gaps and open up more people. And of course, her work with Heard 'Em Say, working with youth, has been great.
I've been an educator of some kind since grad school. So I thought I was going to study to teach college English and essay writing, and then I'd always loved poetry, and I got into spoken word, and so I thought, okay, let me use my educator teaching abilities in this space too. And I think some of those degrees helped me get in the door in spaces where the community wanted to teach spoken word, but that like educator background helped open that door. And so then I started working with Wally B, who founded Heard 'Em Say back in 2007, and I joined him in 2012, and it's been magic ever since.
Liz comes from the kind of traditional academic side of poetry, whereas with people like myself, I'm from the contemporary spoken word art side. And so one of the areas that I've worked on as a teaching artist is helping to bridge that gap. And so meeting Liz was really a great revelation and opportunity to really understand the inner workings of the academic side.
Since the age of 13, I have been slowly killing myself with these beauty magazines as blades dragged up my wrists, or push-up bra straps wrapped around my neck, fumes of perfume and synthetic desire choking my breath. My manifesto became my poetry. It is the only suicide note that I have ever left, and with my own hand on the trigger holding this gun to my temple, will somebody tell me, is this what it means to be a woman?
the thing that I really love is she is fearless in all areas. She's not afraid to hold herself accountable, and she's not afraid to hold you accountable. No matter who you are, she will check your privilege because she's not afraid to check her privilege. She's not afraid to utilize her privilege and position and the things that she has at her advantage in a way to advocate and serve as an ally for other groups and individuals.
An internal memorandum to all white people, myself included.
I love the audience reaction of snaps when a line resonates.
Nobody needs our tears or our guilt or our ignorance or our disbelief. Making racism all about us is only harming the very people we are claiming to help.
You know, so I find I do that in my life now. Just when I'm listening to something, I'm like, oh yeah, tell me more about that. With snaps, which, you know, is maybe weird for a non-poetry audience.
We have to stop hiding our hatred behind self-defense. We have to stop pretending like we don't know the rules when we wrote them. We have to stop painting God in our own image.
You just can't replicate like the vibe of an audience who's supporting you and cheering you on and clapping for you, and then walking into that crowd afterwards and having people say, oh, that was so great, thank you so much for that, or like the conversations that get sparked afterwards are just so fulfilling and like so affirming, and it's really hard to replicate that on Zoom. But gone is the glow of fireflies. And if I could only find that blanket to cover this skin, if Daddy ever knew where this mouth has been, well, it's probably why he stopped giving kisses years ago. My advice for creatives would be to just trust yourself. I think if you're a creative, you're going to create if you give yourself space. Oftentimes we're just overscheduled and drained and exhausted, and like that is not ideal creative time. And so I think like carving out as much of your day as possible to be creative, and then just believe in whatever you create, even if you think it's awful at the time, because I think everything sounds funny until it doesn't. And you know, it sounds awful until it hits. And I think just trusting yourself and giving yourself the space to write terribly until it's good, because it will be. Because since the age of 13, I have been mourning the loss of my ability to ever be a woman, and now at 34, I am struggling to decide if I could ever just be.
See more at lizprisley.com.